What's up, dude? Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I am still kind of getting over my cold, so if I sound a little bit rough, that is why. I also don't know how long I'm necessarily going to be able to talk. And also, okay, you guys, I keep going like this, and that's because I keep pushing my eyelashes up. So two things. One, I got my eyelashes lifted and tinted like last week or something. And so I don't want to like rub them because in my head that's going to cause like breakage and stuff. So, but at the same time, my eyes are like super dry. So I need to like do something, kind of rub them. So that's why I go like this. I'm sorry, it's just a very dry time of year and allergies, you know? Okay, so today we are going to be doing another celebrity kind of story. This one genuinely doesn't have any crime related to it. And while I tell the story, or not really tell the story, but I guess talk about what I'm going to talk about, I am going to work on bedazzling this phone case. Don't ask me why, but I've gotten really into bedazzling lately because I saw the Barbie movie and I was like, oh my gosh, you know what I should do? I should bedazzle a phone case, but in like the Barbie font. Did that work? No, because that's not really a thing that you can like easily bedazzle, because I got small rhinestones, but they're not small enough to be able to bedazzle my name so you know that it's my name in the Barbie font, if that makes any kind of sense. So I have a different design in mind for this one. So anyways, I never in my life was a pink girly before watching this darn Barbie movie, but now let me tell you, not that I'm like in love with the color pink, but I'm starting to embrace it a little bit more, because after seeing the Barbie movie, I don't know what happened, but something just switched and I was like, you know what, I think I like pink. Anyways, okay, this is all like so off topic. Let's start talking about what we are going to talk about, which is the marriage between Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie. So Angelina Jolie, if you don't know, she was an actress, I'm pretty positive that we all know who Angelina Jolie is. Married to Brad Pitt, has a bunch of adopted kids, has some kids with Brad. She was in movies like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is, where she met Brad. She was also in Maleficent and Girl Interrupted. I've never seen those last two. Actually, you know what? I've never even seen Mr. and Mrs. Smith, if I'm being like so honest right now. Anyways, so Angelina, while growing up, we just need to go into a little bit more of her backstory so that way you guys can like better understand who she is as a person. So growing up, her parents were divorced. She felt like she was an outsider at school. She was like more punk rock and she really liked wearing black clothes. She would go to like mosh pits and watch, punk music, metal music, like was just really a much darker kind of person than maybe the area that she like necessarily grew up in. Like that wasn't, the norm, which like for me, when I was growing up, kids in school didn't really dress that way either. So there was a group of kids that would wear darker clothes and were like either goth or scene, but it was such a small group, like it was hard not to notice them kind of. And Angelina was kind of like that. Like she didn't really talk much. She didn't have a ton of friends, like kind of felt like she was an outsider, didn't really feel like she connected with anybody. And as a teenager, I want to say she was like 16 years old, but I don't know that that's actually true. She had this boyfriend that she lived with, and they were a very interesting couple. They would take part in like knife play. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to try to explain it in a way that won't get this video taken down from YouTube. So knife play is basically like when, you're getting down and freaky with your significant other and you bring knives into the bedroom or couch or wherever you're getting down and freaky and you like cut each other and do stuff like that. So Angelina was very into that and she would do that with this boyfriend. Like he was kind of the one that introduced her to it. Well, then they broke up. They didn't last because she was still in high school, so she was a teenager. Anyways, so anyhow, they broke up and she moved back home. She was living with her single mother. She didn't really have a relationship with her dad, John Voight, who was also an actor, and we will talk a tiny bit about him later on. But he wasn't really like present in her life, which is really sad. But she was living on a single mother's like income, so that also made her feel like an outsider because she wasn't a rich kid, even though like I think her mom made pretty good money because she was in the entertainment industry as well. She still wasn't like as rich as the other kids at school. And honestly, yeah, that can kind of make school a little bit tougher for you as a kid. So I get where she's coming from. Okay, so anyways, Billy Bob Thornton, we're not really going to talk as much about him because honestly, who cares? Like, really, he is not nearly as big of an actor as, like, you know, Miss Angelina Jolie. But he was in movies like Tombstone, Fargo, and Bad Santa, which, okay, I live in North Dakota. I have literally never seen Fargo. Like, I have no idea what that movie's about. I know that it is a Coen Brothers movie, but besides that, that's pretty much it. Like, I think it's supposed to be kind of like a funny, dark type of movie, but yeah. Bad Santa, though, let me tell you what, that is a very inappropriate movie, but I have to say, I do find it funny. So, anyways, I don't know what that tells you about my intelligence level, But anyways, Billy Bob and Angelina, they met while filming Pushing Tin in 1999, my birth year. Amazing, immaculate. I don't think that movie ended up, being very big because I had never heard of it. And they met on set, which I really, honestly, I do think that meeting on set, like, listen, I think that actors and actresses kind of forget that, like, there's rules, like, to life when you're not on set. And a lot of, inappropriate things happen while on set. Like, look how Angelina met Brad while filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith, on set. Anyways, just a little observation. So the next year, they eloped in Las Vegas on May 5th, 2000, which is, like, really hilarious because he was engaged to Laura Dern at the time. And she had no idea that, like, this was happening. She didn't realize that her fiance was cheating on her with Miss Dark Princess Angelina Jolie, which is kind of actually a cute nickname. I might take that. So Laura Dern said, I left her home to work on a movie, and while I was away, my boyfriend got married, and I've never heard from him again. She said, it's like a sudden death. For one, has there been any closure or clarity? So, like, she didn't, like, she was, like, sideswiped. She was like, pardon? I thought we were getting married, like, we were engaged to be married, and now you're just, like, married to a whole ass other woman? Like, pardon? Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's kind of interesting. I did not know that going into this video. But what's really interesting is that Laura's dad is Bruce Dern, who was also in, like, The Cowboys with John Wayne, and The Hateful Eight, like the 2015 version, the remake, and The Peanut Butter Falcon, which is, like, a more recent movie. So he, too, works in the industry, and Angelina's dad is John Voight, like I said, him and Angelina had a falling out when she was younger, and they didn't talk for, like, 6.5 years. I think since then they've reconciled and they're fine now, but he was in movies like Holes, National Treasure, and Mission Impossible, the 1996 one, which I believe is the first one with Tom Cruise. So since both women had very, like, prominent famous dads working in Hollywood, Laura actually babysat Angelina at one point. So John Voight's a friend of mine, so I remember Laura babysat Angelina when Angelina was 2 and Laura was about 8. Laura's dad, Bruce, said at the Motion Picture Academy's Governor's Awards. I think that is very silly, and Hollywood is very messy, and everybody is connected and, conjoined in one way or another. So at the time of meeting, Angelina was, I believe Angelina was 24 years old when she married Billy Bob, and he is 20 years older than her, which, hey, I love a good age gap, and I kind of feel like for some reason when you're super rich and, like, working in the industry, for whatever reason, I feel like it's just not as big of an issue, which is so strange to think. But it seems like when people are rich or famous, people just, like, don't think as much about it. I don't know why that is, but comment down below, let me know what you think. I could be wrong, I could be right, but that is just kind of my own perception of it. So anyways, this was Billy Bob's 5th marriage and Angelina's 2nd marriage. Billy Bob and Angelina were very passionate in public, and, like, they weren't shy at all. And you guys, I just need to show you this one clip of them talking to MTV because, let me tell you, it is wild. I'm gonna roll the clip.
I know we had a lot of fun shooting it, and we were all excited about the cars, and we were all having fun and trying some things, so it should come across, and I think it'll be a great summer movie, you know, just fun.
So I see your personal life has gone to hell.
Oh,
How much fun are you guys having?
I'm just happy.
It's a beautiful train wreck.
Well, I need a kiss, please. Sorry. Thanks.
Movie is a lot of action, a lot of like romance, a lot of sex appeal. What's the most exciting What's the most exciting thing you guys have ever done in a car, individually or together?
I think it was today. My favorite one in a car was today, just before we got here. What is this, MTV?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, you want me to be honest with you? We in the car on the way here. Yeah.
And it was the most exciting thing.
Yeah, every time it is.
Yeah, they were very in love and super passionate and didn't care if people knew about it. Now, Angelina, like I said, she's kind of an alt, punk rock kind of a gal. And I mean, very passionate, I think, like she is with Billy Bob. But like, she also kissed her brother on the red carpet one time. And it wasn't like a kiss on the cheek or like a little just, peck or something. It was like a full-on romantic kiss. It was super weird. I don't know if they were trying to make a statement or something, but that happened. So I think that just gives you a pretty good sense of what Angelina really is like. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you just looked at her, you maybe wouldn't think that about her. Billy Bob, yes, you would think that about him, looking at him, which is funny because he looked very different when he was engaged to Laura Dern. So anyways, but Angelina had a tattoo of Billy Bob's name and like a dragon on her arm. And he got her name tattooed on his arm as well, like on the inside here. I can't find a photo of it. If I can, I will insert it, but I, at the moment, can't find it. So Angelina's is now covered up with the names and coordinates of her children's birthplaces, like their name and then the coordinates of where they were born, and which I think is a really cute tattoo. And she also has Brad Pitt's name and birth coordinates on her arm as well, so I don't know if she's gonna get that covered up or maybe she'll keep it, but either way, that is what she has it covered up with now. But one of like the crazier things that these two are known for, Angelina and Billy Bob, is the fact that they wore vials of each other's blood around their neck. People thought that was really strange, which, don't get me wrong, yeah, that's kind of weird, but also it wasn't like a huge thing of blood. It was like maybe a drop or two. It wasn't like they had, fully bled out or something. Like the media at the time definitely did make it seem like it was some crazy amount and they were just, Satanists for doing this and whatnot. And then really, like, if you see the necklaces, it's like, oh yeah, it was just like a kind of strange, but in their own way, a sweet little gesture showing how committed they were to each other. So, hindsight's 2020. Do what you want with that information. But Billy Bob explains that the necklaces were a very simple thing. Hey, let's poke our finger with a pin and smear a little on there, and then and when we are away from each other, we'll wear the necklaces. It was that easy, but by the time it came out in the press, it sounded like we were wearing a bucket of blood around our necks. And Angelina said in 2008 to Entertainment Weekly, it was never a vial anyways. It was like a flower press. It was like from a slight cut on your finger and you press your fingerprint into it. It was kind of a sweet gesture. I thought it was kind of romantic. I still love him dearly and think the world of him, and I'm proud to have been his wife for a time. That was in 2008. She said that. So yeah, it was basically like a locket. Maybe. I don't know. I think it got played up way more than it maybe needed to be. But anyways, don't you guys love how I talk about this like I was there when it happened or something? When I was literally, I think, 3 when this one all took place. So it's not like I was there personally or even really remember it in the press. But I'm going to talk about it like I do remember it. In March of 2002, Angelina and Billy decided to adopt a kid from Cambodia, but they separated only 3 months later. I think the adoption happened much quicker for them because they were a wealthy celebrity couple. And the first child that they adopted, well, that Angelina adopted, was her son Maddox, like I said, from Cambodia. Billy Bob had 2 kids from previous relationships already, like himself. So people were kind of thinking that it was like the divorce was because he didn't want to adopt a kid or like have another one, which I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in the relationship. That could be true, but I kind of feel like since he already had 2 kids, what's a third sort of? Like I'm the third kid in my family. I kind of feel like, if you have 2, what the heck? Literally, like, what's another kid? You know what I mean? If you're gonna have 2, you might as well have 3. Either way, the divorce was finalized on May 27th of 2003. In the divorce, Angelina fought to get full custody of Maddox, which she was in fact granted, which is cool, because I do think that Angelina's a good mom. I mean, if nothing, she is a great mother. Fun story, my dad actually thinks that he saw her in a truck stop. I don't know which state he was in. It wasn't like she was in North Dakota or anything. But yeah, he's pretty positive he saw her in a truck stop. And he said that she, if it was in fact Angelina, that she was the most beautiful woman that like he had ever seen. He also said that in front of my mom, which is very gutsy. So she must have been. In the divorce, so the marriage just sort of ended abruptly, and like when Angelina was asked about it, she said, "It took me by surprise too, because overnight we totally changed. I think one day we had just nothing in common, and it's scary, but I think it can happen when you get involved and you don't know yourself yet." I mean, she was young. She was like 24. He was 44, roughly. At the time, he said that they broke up because we just had different lifestyles. Hers is a global lifestyle, and mine is an agoraphobic lifestyle, meaning like he doesn't like to leave his house. He just likes to chill, be on the couch, stay home. He likes writing music, he likes reading, that kind of stuff, which I do think that it's more common than we think for celebrities or like actors to be kind of introverted. Like, I think that when they act and when they're on screen and they're playing a character, that's kind of like a mask. That's how they get through it, is because they're like, well, this isn't really me, I'm just playing a character. Like, my character is super outgoing, likes talking to people, but me, myself, personally, I am not. So I think that people get really confused and they're like, well, you wanted to be in the spotlight and you wanted to, oh my god, this freaking rhinestone, like, is not setting down how I want it to. That, people think, oh, if you're in the entertainment industry, that means that you must like being around people and having the spotlight on you. No, I don't think that's true. Like, look at me. I love making YouTube videos and stuff, but personally, would I want people following me around, taking photos of me, constantly trying to talk to me? No, let's be real. That would get old for probably anybody and everybody. Like, it is part of the territory, but at the same time, it's like, even if you do it and you are nice and talk to everybody, I mean, that's fine and that's great, but come on. Like, it's just unreasonable to think that that wouldn't get old at some point in your life. Honestly, a lot of bedazzling is just like putting down rhinestones and then constantly adjusting the entire thing. I'm not gonna lie, it is really fun and like relaxing. Anyways, Billy Bob also made a very strange comment at one point, like amid the divorce and stuff, and was like, yeah, a lot of people think it'd be great to like sleep with Angelina, but really it's like in terms of, getting down freaky time. He was like, in reality, it's like sleeping with a couch. Okay, sir. So you're gonna go out on that note, like at the time, you're gonna lash out in that way and say that sleeping with your wife at the time, Angelina Jolie, was like sleeping with a couch? Okay, kind of weird. And yet you're the one who wants to live a more lazy, laid-back lifestyle and just stay at home. Okay, interesting. Like, I don't think that, sleeping with a celebrity would necessarily be any greater than sleeping with a regular person, but it's like, sir, she is into some freaky stuff, and you want to say that it's like sleeping with a couch. That's really cute there, Billy Bob, if that is in fact your real name, but I don't think that people really believed him. They were probably just like, oh, LOL, someone's bitter that the most, gorgeous person on the planet is divorcing his ass. Like, oh, okay. Anyways, so Angelina said, But then in 2018, he said, I look at that time as a great time. Angie is still a friend of mine and she's a great person and she's done so much. So that's the only reason we're probably not still together, maybe because of a different path in life we wanted to take. So for him to then like turn around and be like, oh my gosh, no, what are you talking about? Like, she's great. If, we hadn't taken different paths in life, we still would probably be together. It's like, okay, yeah, so you were just insecure at the time that she wanted to, or he, I guess, too, wanted to get a divorce because different lifestyles and because you wanted to be a couch potato, sir. Like, give me a break. But I do think it's sweet now that they do still talk very, very highly of each other. I don't think a divorce necessarily needs to be a bitter thing. I mean, these two are proof of that. Like, they were only married for 2 or 3 years and they today talk very highly of each other. Like, they probably still bump into each other at parties and stuff. Like, I don't know what Mr. Billy Bob is up to these days, but Angelina is out there. Like, sis is, she's living her best life despite being divorced from Brad, which I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of sad about. But even though he's 20 years older than her, I bet that they still do run into each other at parties and stuff. I don't know. I just think it'd be very interesting to be a fly on a wall at a Hollywood party where like a bunch of people have slept with a bunch of people or have been married and divorced from a bunch of people. Oh my gosh, my dream. Anyways, so Angelina is the only woman that he has ever written a song about. It's called Angelina, and I believe you can stream it on Spotify. But yeah, like I said, he wants to stay home and write music. So that's what he did. Just kidding. He also did more movies and whatnot, but I'm just saying. So anyways, when Angelina was a kid, and like I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I should have. I just included this one quote and that's what made me think of this. So when she was a kid and was like super, just honestly, I would say depressed because, she was just a very different kind of kid and I think honestly she probably was a little bit deeper than kids her age, or like maybe just a little bit more aware of what was going on around her. But anyways, she attempted to commit schmooshmide, and I have to say that because YouTube doesn't like the actual word and I don't want my video to get flagged. So that's the only reason I say that differently. I've had some people comment and they're like, why don't you just say the word? Like, stop being so or people need to stop being so sensitive about words. No, queen, it's literally because YouTube doesn't like that word. But she attempted when she was 16 and 22 to, like I said, commit schmooshmide, and she had even hired a hitman at one point to do it for her. Like, she told him to, that she, that she was the hit. And I believe that he was the one that talked her out of it, which I've also heard on TikTok people say like, yeah, there's no such thing as hitmen in real life. Like, they're just cops undercover. I don't know how true that is, but anyways, that is what I've heard. So yeah, she did a lot of self-harming. She did a ton of drugs. Heroin was a big one for her. She really liked that one. But then she said, I knew once I committed to Maddox, I would never be self-destructive again. So I think in this case, having a kid was just a really great thing for her, and it put her in a much better headspace. But yeah, that is my kind of synopsis of Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie being married. I know this video got drug out way longer than it needed to be, but I thought that like bedazzling the phone case would kind of give me something else to focus on instead of sitting here and just reading the notes off my laptop, and it kind of made me more relaxed. So I'm probably gonna keep doing this from now on. But anyways, tomorrow I will be back again with, I think, another true crime case. So that will be tomorrow's video, and then I'll be back on Monday with something else. I don't know what it's going to be yet. We'll find out. I'll figure it out this weekend. But that is it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. Stay safe. Touch a little grass. Breathe some air outside your house. Yeah, other than that, I hope you guys are all well, and we'll be back tomorrow. Bye, guys.